Good morning, I'm John Delano. Welcome to the Sunday Business Page. This morning, a special conversation with former Pennsylvania Governor Dick Thomburgh. He'll be joined by Achieva's CEO, Marcia Blanco, as they tell us about a new capital campaign to give Achieva's clients, people with disabilities, more opportunities to live independently and develop financial independence. Then we'll talk with the former governor about the state of politics today in Pennsylvania and this country, as well as the health of the Republican Party. And you'll find out why the People's Gas Holiday Market in Pittsburgh's Market Square could be the best stop in your Christmas shopping travels. It's all next right here on the Sunday Business Page.
The Sunday Business Page on KDKA TV is brought to you by Stewart Capital Advisors. Experience the power of the Piper.
And a very good morning to you. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday morning with us. For many years, one of the biggest advocates in Pennsylvania for those with disabilities has been Dick Thomburgh. He and his wife, Jenny, have worked tirelessly to support efforts to bring dignity, opportunity, and financial independence to those whose future depends on that support. So it's no surprise that the former Pennsylvania governor and U.S. Attorney General would be playing a crucial role in an $8 million capital campaign for Achieva, southwestern Pennsylvania's largest support provider for individuals with disabilities and their families. We're so pleased to welcome Dick Thomburgh to the Sunday Business Page to talk about this initiative. And we're equally pleased to have Marcia Blanco, Achieva's CEO, with us as well. Thank you both for the important work you're doing. Governor, it's always good to see you again.
Glad to be home.
This is a great personal cause for you, isn't it?
It is indeed, John. We have a very special reason for supporting Achieva and its activities. As you may know, our son Peter has been laboring with a disability for some time. In fact, he was only 4 months old when he was in the auto accident that caused him severe skull fractures and brain damage. But thanks to the kind of insights that Achieva provides and the Americans with Disabilities Act and the whole panoply of causes that we've been involved in, he now lives a meaningful life. He lives semi-independently. He's now 52 years old. Marcia knows him and loves him, and he's blessed with a lot of friends and supporters. So that's our special interest.
You know, well, once upon a time, way back when I worked on Capitol Hill and you were governor of Pennsylvania, we did a lot of work with respect to people with disabilities. And one of the things that it always occurs to me is that a best way for all of us to look at this is that all of us are only temporarily able-bodied. We're all at some point in our life likely to have a disability of some sort, which is why the entire universe should be supportive of the efforts that you have undertaken. That's the way I kind of look at this.
Well, the case for Achieva makes itself.
Well, we're going to ask Marcia, tell us a little bit about Achieva for those who may not be familiar with you and your programs.
Thanks, John. As you said, Achieva is southwestern Pennsylvania's largest provider of supports for children and adults with disabilities. The supports that we provide begin at birth, through early intervention for little ones from birth to 3 years of age, continues throughout a lifetime, including residential supports, vocational training, and job coaching for nearly 800 people a day. This year, Achieva will support nearly 13,000 individuals and their families throughout southwestern Pennsylvania with lifelong supports.
And you know, it's so important that you have the financial backing that you need. And you've undertaken a capital campaign. Governor, tell us about that. Where are you in this progress, and how can we all help out?
Jenny and I are privileged to be the honorary co-chairs of this effort. The real heavy lifting is done by Bill Demchak from PNC, who has been an incredible leader in this effort. But the job, as I said, kind of sells itself. When you stop to think of it, I think all of us, every single one of us, is touched by a disability in our lives. Either we have a disability ourselves, or we know somebody, or have a family member. And as you point out, every one of us who are temporarily able are only seconds away, potentially, from that kind of status ourselves. So the effort here is to raise $8 million to supplement the work that's being done by this fine organization in areas that Marcia will tell you about that are very important to its growth and survival.
And how's that campaign coming, Marcia?
We are just delighted. We went public, John, just last week. We are at $4.2 million toward our goal of $8 million.
More than halfway.
And you know Pittsburgh. The support in this community is just unbelievable. I said to the governor earlier, pinch me. We knew that we had some great things that we want to do, some innovation. As you well know from your experience with government does not typically fund innovation.
Right.
It tends to fund things that are older, sometimes stale, and so we would like to test and to innovate some things that are going to be more cost-effective for government, are going to be more meaningful for individuals with disabilities and their families.
Now, I know we got your website, so we're going to get it up on the screen, because I'm assuming that's one way that any of us on an individual basis can participate in this campaign?
Correct. We have information about the campaign on the website, John, and we would welcome people to go to achieva.info to get more information, not only on the campaign, but about all of the good that this organization is doing in the community.
And I'm assuming that the corporations in town are stepping up and helping. You mentioned Bill Demchak over at PNC, but I assume that's kind of where you get the big bucks, isn't it?
You know the tradition in this community. Corporate leaders and leaders in the philanthropic community are always eager to support good causes. Right. And there is no better cause than Achieva's work and its expanded and its hopes for the future. So we're pleased to be with you.
I was struck, I think the figure is that only, is it 8 out of 10 people with disabilities are not employed?
Yes, that's the real soft spot.
And that just strikes me, because no matter what your disability, you have a contribution to make. How do we get 10 out of 10 folks with disabilities who are able, in one way or another, to participate in our employment and make the contribution that we know they can make? What needs to happen here?
I will tell you that, again, Pittsburgh's leading the way in this, and we have a group of folks working through the United Way, 21 and Able, whose mission at this point is to help young people as they graduate from school, typically at 21 years of age, to secure meaningful employment. And so always, again, being in Pittsburgh, it's a big community effort.
Is there anything that needs to happen on the governmental level, Governor?
I think probably the best thing government can do is get out of the way. The landmark Americans with Disabilities Act set down some important rules for conduct that business is obliged to follow. I'm pleased to say that most of those undertakings have been entered into enthusiastically by the business community. They support the ADA. They recognize that the reasonable accommodations to employ people with disabilities are not onerous or money draining. So what I think the principal thing we look for from government is a safety net. And Marcia knows full well that that's always kind of a race for the finish line every year at budget time.
Is there a risk with this fiscal cliff? I know we're going to talk a little politics later, but with respect to folks with disabilities, is the fiscal cliff going to cause a problem, Marcia, if we go over it and lose funding for all these other projects?
Yeah, we're of course very, very concerned, John. Medicaid is a primary funding source for long-term supports for people with disabilities. Assistance, perhaps, getting out of bed in the morning with their morning routine in order to get ready and hopefully go to work. But yes, it is of concern, although I must mention that Governor Corbett, just last week in Philadelphia, with a group of family members who have sons and daughters on the waiting list, and we do have lengthy waiting lists for community services here in Pennsylvania, made a commitment and said that one of his goals during his tenure is to eradicate that waiting list in Pennsylvania. And I got to tell you, that one brought joy to my heart that day.
You could hear us all cheering on that one.
Well, I can't thank both of you enough for the work that you do for folks with disabilities. These are very important people in our community, and as we've emphasized, there's contributions they can make, but it's really up to us to step up and make our contributions, and Achieva is one way that during your capital campaign and even beyond, I think all of us can be helpful. Thank you so much for the leadership in this area. We appreciate that.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
When we come back, we'll talk politics with former Governor Thomburgh and former United States Attorney General as well. Stick with us.
The Sunday Business Page will be back in just a moment. Welcome back.